Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about the Ascent. I'm not necessarily going to call this a review just because I haven't played enough of it, and we'll get into it more with spoilers. It just isn't my type of game, but I've played enough to where I think I can make, a general video telling you what it's about and what I think about it. So, if you don't know what this is, I don't blame you. Went on to Game Pass the same day as Flight Simulator, kind of didn't get much publicity or anything like that, or at least as much as Flight Simulator. And so, again, I'm talking about on Game Pass, just like Flight Simulator, for free. This game costs $30 if you don't have Game Pass on PC, or if you just don't want to spend $5 on Game Pass for some reason. It's $30 in the store. So, this isn't a review at $30 because that is a very different price point on this game that changes everything. This is a review at $5, or as I like to think of it, I already own Game Pass, so it's free. And so I want to start out with the character customization, just because I think it's simple, it's quick, it shows you what type of game this is. And so if you've played Outriders or any of those type of looter shooter type games, I don't really want to compare it to Destiny or something like that, or The Division, because that's really not what it is, but more like Outriders, right? But just with a top-down view and a cyberpunk setting, that's pretty much what this game is, right? It's, in this town where you're in the sewer system and you're running around, it's all futuristic with different types of aliens and all of that stuff, and we'll get to that in a second. It's a top-down game, so you move with the left stick and aim with the right stick. So that's really my biggest problem with it, is just the type of game it is, right? Everything that's there is solid. Literally, if they changed the camera angle to third person or first person, I would be fine. I would play this game. I like everything else about it. Now, I did go into it thinking it was going to be like a strategy XCOM type of game, but again, I didn't know much about it at all. I just knew the title and images that had come out and what was on the Microsoft Store. And so that's kind of what it is. It's that top-down kind of looter-shooter type feel. You're running around doing main quests and side quests and getting better gear and better weapons and augments and all of that stuff. Customization isn't great. I mean, it's fine. It's there. And especially for a game where the camera is so high above the player and just so zoomed out, like your tattoos, for example, I don't think you can even see from how far the camera is. So it's fine for the type of game it is, but it's not the greatest customization you've ever seen. Now, something I do want to talk about that surprised me is it does have online co-op and couch co-op. So you can play this game with friends, you can play it with your little brother and pretend like the controller is not plugged in, and, just pretend like he's having fun, or you can play it by yourself, right? And so, besides that, there's really not much to talk about here. I mean, comparing it to Outriders, I think, is the perfect example, other than the camera angle. Now, I want to talk about, the shooting and the loot and all that stuff. I'll get into that in a second. But let's talk about some of the bugs or problems that I had. So, like I said in the beginning, I typically don't play these types of games, right? If this changed the camera angle, perfect, but these top-down types of games I'm not really a fan of, unless it's a strategy type game. And so these might be mechanics that are just standard in these types of games, and I just don't know it. But something that really bothered me was that you can't sprint, and it doesn't seem like a big deal here because it's relatively narrow and rolling, does a lot of the work. When you get to the bigger areas, I'm just walking for like minutes on end, just walking from one place to another to talk to a person. And so I feel like there needs to be a sprint there, or I'm just an idiot and didn't know there was a sprint button, or some kind of vehicle or fast travel. Another thing, just like Outriders actually, is the map, not the mini-map you're seeing, but the actual map isn't great. And it's more the markers or the trackers for your quest, again, just like in Outriders, point you to one area, and that's not where the mission is. For example, in the main hub, there's multiple floors, and it might point you to, the objective is here in this northeast corner, but it's on floor 7 and you're on floor 2. And doesn't tell you that until you open the map and realize, oh, that marker is significantly higher up than I am. I have to go find an elevator, and it's again, with no sprinting, it's just a lot of walking around in that main area. But that's really my only complaints there. Another mechanical thing that I noticed, and again, this might just be commonplace in these types of games, who knows, but the reload mechanic, how it works is you shoot, just like in just about every game ever. You can manually reload, or it auto reloads for you. But my problem here is I have 16 bullets in this gun that you see that I'm using now. If I press RT, the fire button, 16 times and hit 0, the gun does not reload if I stop pressing RT once I've hit 0. I have to press RT again to fire another, try to fire another shot before it would reload. So I've been killed like that multiple times, where I shoot my 10 bullets and I expect it to auto reload. I have to press the button for it to start reloading, even though it's an auto reload mechanic and they specify that to you. It doesn't really auto reload. You're having to press RT anyways. So unless, you're just spamming RT, not looking at how much ammo you have, which, if that's your thing, this won't be a problem for you. But it's got me killed a couple of times. So let's talk about the menus real quick and what really makes this a looter shooter. So obviously, it's the loot. Is the loot cool? I mean, it's not awful, right? But to me, and it might just be the setting, I'm not a huge fan of the setting. Going through, and obviously I don't have much here in the beginning unlocked, but going to all the different vendors and looking at the possible weapons and the possible armor sets and all that stuff, I mean, it's very cyberpunk, type stuff. And if that's your thing, if you like all the wires and all that stuff hanging off your head and like these VR headsets and all that cool stuff, if that's your thing, then you're gonna like the armor and the weapons and all of that stuff. For me, it's whatever. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I prefer, Destiny, Outrider, Anthem, that type of loot style. I just think that looks better. That metallic armor type looking loot, I think, is just more satisfying to get, for me anyways. Graphically, the game does not look bad, both in the in-game cutscenes, the actual cutscenes, obviously it looks great, and then in-game during gameplay. And when it comes to dialogue and quests and all that stuff, there are dialogue options within the quest and the shops and all that stuff, but they don't really do anything for you. It's more just lore type stuff. I could have skipped all of this and not, learned or needed anything extra that I needed for the game. It's all just lore. And speaking of lore, the lore tab for this game, I mean, every single character, every single enemy, it's like pages long. There's plenty of lore to read through if that's your thing. It's freaking, they got books of stuff in there. It's ridiculous. So if you like top-down RPG, looter shooter type games with cyberpunk settings, or I guess if you like any of those things individually, then you'll probably really enjoy this game for free or for $5. $30, I'm not sure. Again, this isn't my type of game, so I think $30 is ridiculous, but again, it wouldn't work. If it was $5, I probably wouldn't pay anything for this, right? But what's here works, and that's where, again, it's not a review, it's just my thoughts on it. I still want to give it a number, and I struggle to give it a number because it's not exactly my type of game, but if it was, it's good. Everything that's here works, the world is cool, the combat works, there's armor, weapons, and upgrade system, modules to equip your character with different powers, all types of grenades, augments for your weapons, different quests, storylines, the game looks good, all that stuff. But again, just because it's not my type of game, I think I'm gonna have to give this a 7. It's good, right? If the camera angle was changed, it'd probably be an 8 or a 9, depending on, later hours into the game, how it continued and advanced. So if you like this genre of a game, you'll probably love this game, especially for $3.99. But if this isn't your type of game, I don't think it's going to change your mind and get you into top-down shooters all of a sudden. But you guys let me know what you think of the Ascent down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.